Hi, everyone, and welcome. I'm very excited to be here today with Michaela Wells. Michaela, welcome.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Michaela is with Brookdale, and she will be speaking at our upcoming event. And by the way, I am Catherine Wells. And Michaela, may I say, you have an amazing last name.
Thank you very
and
much.
and we are no relation, so just relation by the virtue of supporting seniors and older adults and their quality of life. So very excited to have Michaela here. We're going to talk with her about the upcoming event, Collaboration in Aging. This event is taking place February 10th and 11th in downtown Denver at the Westin. And the idea for this event is that we bring everyone across the senior care continuum together, including older adults and family members, so that we can begin to understand each other's pains, understand each other's desires and motivations, and truly begin to think about things differently and create a future that we all love and we all want to live into. So Michaela is one of our speakers at this event, and she's going to be talking about lessons learned in the Blue Zone. So we're going to learn a little bit about that today. But before we dive into that, first, let's start with getting to know Michaela. Michaela, can you tell our audience who you are and a little bit about your background and what brought you to senior care?
Absolutely. Thank you. Yes, I'm Michaela Wells. I'm with Brookdale Senior Living. I'm the business development coordinator. And what that means is that I work for Brookdale in developing relationships and representing Brookdale to build those relationships and demonstrate how senior living can help seniors live their best life and how Brookdale can help to solve problems and partner to create solutions and to just help those seniors live their best lives.
Can you tell our audience about Brookdale, who they are? We know the name and people from inside the industry know Brookdale, but people who might be looking for senior living may not know all about Brookdale. So share.
Absolutely. So Brookdale is a national corporation. We have senior living communities. There's 29 in Colorado, but they're all over the country. We have everything from independent living through assisted living. We have Alzheimer's and memory care communities, and we also have skilled nursing and short-term rehabilitation communities. So we offer all levels of senior living care. We also can offer help at home. We do have a home health branch as well as a hospice branch, and also a non-medical home care part too. So for people that might just need a little bit of extra help at home, we can offer that assistance as well.
So you hit every single point on the aging care services spectrum. Tell us why you do what you do. Senior care is not something most people graduate from college and say, I can't wait to go into senior care. And it's a hard job. So what motivates you? What gets you up every day?
I myself traveled the journey with a loved one of senior care. And I, through that journey, found that there were many questions I didn't know to ask and challenges that I think I wished had been made easier. And through my experience in the industry, I've learned how to help with that. And I wanted to share that with seniors and families of what questions to ask and to ask them before they even know to ask themselves, so that they can make the right choice at the right time. And they can think about some of those questions, such as, what is hard for you right now? What is most important to you right now? What would something different look like to you? What would you like to see different right now? Those kinds of questions, I think you don't always know to ask or to even look at, but when somebody poses them to you, then you can really examine what you need at the time and find the right solution for you, whether that's assisted living or independent living, or maybe staying at home with some home care. What is that journey going to be for you? And I found that if somebody had asked those questions, my journey would have been much easier. It would have been much easier for my loved one to know what to choose, and life would have been simpler, and she would have been happier and found her solution a lot easier. So I want to make that easier for others.
Well, that's a good reason to get up every morning. I will say for myself, I'm not that far away from aging services, and 70% of people over the age of 65 take advantage of paid aging care services. So it's not a small population. So it's a great motivation to get up every single day and serve those people. Thank you for doing that. Let's talk about, what are you doing to create a difference for older adults, and how does that tie into what you're presenting at the event?
Glad you asked that. So Brookdale has always been an innovator, an educator, and a leader in the senior living industry. But ultimately, it really comes back to, it's all about solving for loneliness by creating a community of friends, solving the need for better food experiences, solving the need to regain strength and maintain health through physical activity, and managing chronic illness. And finding a renewed sense of purpose, and helping those family and friend caregivers that might be overwhelmed. I mean, these are basic aspects of quality of life. And so all of that innovation comes back to trying to address those basic qualities of life.
It's great to hear that. It's that COVID was such a tough time for so many people, and we see tons of innovation coming out of this pandemic. And while it was incredibly difficult, I think we're going to see a whole different senior care industry in the next 5 to 10 years.
Yes, I agree.
So with that, let's talk about the lessons learned from the Blue Zone. I'm excited about this topic.
Yeah, I'm really excited about it too. The concept of Blue Zones has actually been around for a while, but just really being able to educate people on the tenets of the Blue Zones is fairly new. So in this course, I'm going to explain what the Blue Zones are and the characteristics of longevity and wellness that were found in these Blue Zones. And then also the 9 behaviors, or what they call the Power 9, that can extend years of wellness that they found in these areas. And not just longevity, but actual wellness. Living longer is not necessarily better if you're not living well, right? So we want quality of life as well as quantity. And then how the practices that we learn from these Blue Zone areas, we can incorporate into our own lives and those that we serve. So I think it'll be really exciting.
To give a little bit of context for the audience, a Blue Zone is what? What does that mean?
So yeah, I'll give you a little preview on that. So the Blue Zones were areas that scientists discovered where areas of the world that people were living very long lives, very long lives. So they were mentally and physically fit and living into their 90s and hundreds. And so National Geographic sent scientists in to study why. What was it about these certain areas that allowed people to live longer and better, and found certain characteristics and certain behaviors, and then brought those back to try to figure out how can we incorporate those? What can we do with those? So this will kind of review all of that and talk about that.
So they had health span as well as lifespan. Their health span was equal to their lifespan, which is an interesting thing when you think about that. Health span does not always equate to where you are on the lifespan spectrum. And I'm with you. I would like to live healthy as long as I possibly can. I'm happy to live to 300 years old if I can live healthy. And this is really interesting. And the Blue Zones sound like it's a bit of these secret pockets that scientists really have studied so that they can figure out what's causing that, what's making it happen there that's not happening everywhere else. Because these are still, at the core, it's still human beings. We're all kind of made the same. So I can't wait to hear what those 9 are. I'm very curious. I will be sitting in your session, and I will be very excited to learn more about it. Speaking of that, the event is coming up in just a couple of weeks here. What has you excited about this event? I know why we wanted you to speak. Why did you want to be at this event?
I was just so excited because it was such a collaboration, and it was about really finding innovative ways to address the needs of seniors. The seniors are changing, right? The baby boomers don't want the same things that their parents wanted. My mother doesn't want the same things that her mother wanted. They have a very different concept of what living well is and what senior living should be. And so I think we really have to address that. And I think that as we've seen, things have changed so much over the last couple of years that their concepts have changed a lot with that as well. So I think it's really a great time to relook at all of the things that we think about senior care and how can we innovate and be different and think of it differently and listen to the seniors and collaborate with them on what will be best for them, because it's so easy for us to try to take over that journey for them and manage it for them when we really need to walk the journey with them and collaborate with them to help them with what the choices are, because they want to be involved in their own care. They want to be involved in their own decisions. And we can't take that away from them. And I think that's even more true of the generation coming into that, the baby boomers, and probably for ourselves too. I know I'm not going to be easy. So I think we have to be really careful about that, right? So I want to walk that journey with them, and I want to help them find what's best for them and not take it over for them. So really listening to what can we find out there. And I'm really excited to hear about the innovations and the opportunities that there are to make senior living the best for our seniors in the years to come.
And I would say to be part of it too. So you're going to learn some things, but you're going to be part of what is creating that future just by the mere fact of being at this event. Big part of the theme of the event is based a little bit on an Albert Einstein quote that is something like, you can't solve problems with the same thinking that you use to create them. And this industry was set up 50 years ago to serve, and it's very much a service-oriented industry. And then healthcare kind of got in there. So there's a bit of a marriage between hospitality, healthcare, and then I'm going to add in there real estate, because there's a lot of real estate here. And people who are coming into this don't always know that. And that's okay. They don't need to if it's done well. But the idea is that we need to be able to marry all of these things that have different motivations and sometimes different metrics for measuring. And occasionally they're at odds with each other. So how do we get them all to work together and serve our older adults and ourselves as we grow older? And I'm even going to change what I just said. It's not about serving, it's about partnering with and being there to support them. So it's really interesting to see the industry take this shift from we're in charge and we're providing you a service to we're here with you and we're providing all the things you need. You tell us what you need.
Right.
And then I wanted to add something about the way that baby boomers think. They have proven over and over in their lifetimes that that generation will not stand for something that they don't like.
Right.
And we're going to see the same thing here. And I think it's very exciting because they'll pave the way for, I'm a Gen Xer, they'll pave the way for us to experience a different way of aging than I watched my parents go through. My parents were part of the greatest generation. And while I am so grateful, so incredibly grateful to the people that serviced and supported them as they grew older, I also know I don't want to age the way they did. And I want to create a future. I think we all have a hand in our own future, and I want to be part of creating a future that we all love and we all want to live into.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Michaela, if people want to learn more about Brookdale or they'd like to reach out to you, how can they get a hold of you?
Yes, they can reach out to brookdale.com or me directly at mwells11@brookdale.com.
Great. Thank you so much for joining us today. And we look forward to seeing you in a couple of weeks.
Me too. Thanks so much.